Hello, viewer. Good morning to you if you're watching this in the morning. Good afternoon if you're watching it in the afternoon. And good evening if you're watching this in the evening. I know it's been so long. I posted the first vlog and then I disappeared. I come bearing answers and explanations. And I do apologize. My apologies for disappearing. It was very much needed. So much has happened. I'll get into it. What else would I like to mention? Oh, something that made me reconsider making content again is the fact that at assemblies and the social events, people would ask, oh, why did you stop making content? I used to like watching your content, or I enjoyed viewing your content. Yes, I'm aware of the numbers. They're not a lot, but that was never the aim. It was just, I didn't realize that that my content meant that much. Even if it's like to a few people, it means so much, to have received that feedback. And so I decided, you know what, I'll start recording again. And it would make sense to talk about my academic journey. It is sort of the elephant in the room. A lot of people have been asking when I'm graduating, and depending on the mood I'm in, the emotions aren't always the same. But basically, I would obviously not insult your intelligence, because I'm sure you've been counting, and I'm sure it comes from a good place. You guys want to see me graduate. So yeah, I think talk of my earlier schooling years, just so you can understand properly how I've gotten to the point at which I am right now. In my primary school, I was an academic performer, and I achieved quite a lot academically. And so when you have a foundation where academic concepts come to you so easily, you move with a sort of complacency. You don't put as much effort to study. You don't even in your choices, it reflects, and that self-assurance that you have, it shows. And there's nothing wrong to be self-assured, but then it becomes a bit detrimental, because from a young age you thrive on academic validation. And so when you grow older and you aren't able to receive that, it sort of makes your mental health take a negative dive rather. So at the end of my primary schooling years rather, I got a scholarship to go to St. Boniface. Due to circumstances that were out of my control, I was not able to go. And so when I went to high school already, the mood was just, I don't know how to put it in words, but I'll try. Basically, I just didn't want to study as hard, because I was just like, it's pointless. Because when I was in my primary school, I knew what the goal was. I knew what I wanted. And so going to a school that was still part of the national statistics, I'm not gonna lie, it just wasn't the same, and so you go there, you meet other kids, and you start taking different interests, and so your priorities get rearranged, and you just do things for the sake of just doing them. And so even with studying, sometimes you study, sometimes you don't, but you still show up. Though I still showed up. And so after high school, or rather after I wrote grade 12, my points were not enough, so I had to go upgrade. After upgrading, I wasn't accepted at any tertiary institution, so it was a thing of I had to go from campus to campus at campuses of different, I only tried with UNAM first. After UNAM, I was gonna go to the next institution, but then I tried applying And so because my application was not accepted, I went for late registration. And me choosing a course was from a place of desperation. I need you to bear this in mind. And so I opted to study for something that was available and not what I wanted. But even if you were to ask what it is that I wanted, I don't think I can be able to answer that. I don't know what I'm passionate about, but I have nurtured a passion for what it is that I'm currently doing. So don't be worried. Yeah, so I was desperate. I got accepted into university, and so I ended up choosing to study secondary education. Here's the thing, I didn't choose to study this. They had space for education, and so the faculty officer registered me. I wasn't aware of what I was registered for, mind you. So, I went through the motions. I thanked her and stuff. And then I went to go log on to the thingy, to my portal. And then I saw that, okay, she registered me for secondary education. And then I had to register for the rest of the modules that she didn't register me for. Fine. And so the majors were mathematics and biology. From the get-go, I'm not gonna lie, I have been failing. So yeah, the math worse compared to the biology part. The biology, I think ever since I started with this course, I think I've only repeated like 2 biology modules. Yes, just 2 biology modules. And yeah, so the biggest setback has been the calculus. So when you study mathematics, they give you like, or rather, let me stick to the course. With this course, like they give you modules from different departments. Some are from the statistics department, some are from the engineering department, some are from the biochemistry department. Our course has like a lot of weird combinations. So yeah, the first year we had a professor for pre-calculus named Giovanni Morelli. If you've experienced the pain that I've experienced with this lecturer, you would understand why I felt the need to mention his name. And so with that year, everybody failed. Everybody failed. If someone passed, I don't know them personally, but from the campus that I'm from, we all repeated. And so going from doing mathematics on core and now doing mathematics at university level, majoring in mathematics, that is bold. I'm surprised I'm still studying this, because the aim was I need to fail in my first year so I can be able to change courses. I had applied for what I wanted to switch to and everything. I ended up passing first year. I was so frustrated because I wanted to fail so I can be able to change courses, but then that didn't happen. And so when that didn't happen, I decided that, you know what, it's okay, I will finish what I started. And that meant having to repeat pre-calculus multiple times. I think I did pre-calculus like 5 or how many times. Yeah, I should mention that once you make it to university, you need to understand that you are a very smart individual. Whether you relate to my story or whether your story is unique, I want you to know that. So the failure has been a result of poor choices, choosing poorly during exams, choosing poorly while studying. Perhaps you choose to focus on this topic, and then once they set the question paper, that's not the focal content, and so you fail. So I want you to know that I've been studying, And that's the frustrating part, because I feel, not because I didn't put in effort, but because what I had put in was just not what was required. Or rather, I was just focusing on the wrong things. Or perhaps I don't remember things when I ought to remember them, let's say with definitions and making the right choices during exams and all of that. And so yeah, but the course itself is designed in such a way that you're not relaxed, and so we experience a lot of pressure, and they give us a lot of modules, so your mind is just not focused on that one thing. Even if you feel like you ought to give it so much time, you can't give it way too much time, because that would mean you would neglect the rest of the modules. And so yeah, and that is one of the things that my older sister never understood, my failure, because it's like, I can't say it's because you are not smart. You are smart. She would acknowledge that I'm smarter than her. And even when she would look at my academic record, the academic record, she'd be like, some modules you get distinctions, others you fail multiple times. I don't understand this. I also don't. I would like to pass. And so I made it to second year, ended up repeating second year, and this is my third year that I'm doing third year. Do you get that? First year once, second year twice, third year 3 times. The second year was because of the pre-calculus, and then I ended up passing the pre-calculus. So the rule is, with UNAM, you can't go to third year with a first year module. The pre-calculus is from first year, which I carried to second year. And so the first year that I did second year, when I didn't pass, I was not allowed to go to third year, because you can't go to third year with a first year module. And so when I cleared the pre-calculus, I didn't do the calculus 1 and the calculus 2 that I ought to have done in first year and in second year. And so I did it this year. But now when I did the calculus 1 and the calculus 2, I didn't pass it on the first attempt. And so I ended up failing, and I repeated. And even this year I didn't pass the calculus. So that's how I ended up failing again. It's a lot now. Yeah. So it has been really rough, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm mentioning this so casually, but this is something that I've been depressed about, something that I had to go see professionals for, something that I attempted self-elimination for, something that made me abuse alcohol, something that drove me towards a path of self-destruction. At some point I had really bad health problems, right, which was intentional. This is the first time that I'm actually admitting to all of this, but it was intentional. Firstly, because I think I was away from home, and just because you're going through so much in one department does not mean you're exempted from the troubles of the other departments. And so it got too much to handle. So the easier way out was just to attempt to commit suicide. So yeah, I'm glad I failed. Anyways, throughout that experience, I decided to, once I'd reached the end of, that whole pity party that I had to throw myself, I decided that, you know what, I'm not gonna give up on myself. I came to this realization with help. Like I said, I sought the help. I sought professional help, and so I decided that I wasn't gonna give up on myself. I was gonna keep trying. Yes, I haven't graduated yet. It's okay. And with that resolve, I am pleased to announce that I'm pleased to announce that I still have, the rest of the journey to take before I walk down, not the aisle. I still have a distance to take before I wear the gown. I'm not excited for it. If anything, I look forward to feeling that sense of relief for having accomplished this. I have a few modules left. Obviously, the number of modules I have left are a little over 5. So I'm excited to clear them. The only thing really that is stressing me out at this particular juncture is the calculus 2. But once I've cleared it, I have hope the rest are nothing, Shem. So that's it on the side of academics. I mentioned a lot of things there. One of them was, because I'm a witness, right? I was living a double life. And the fact that there are elders that view my content, I'll not post this on WhatsApp. You must find my YouTube channel. But what I was saying is I got so comfortable going out with worldly dudes to a point whereby I was not progressing spiritually, and I kept putting myself in situations that I just hated. I wasn't proud of my choices. And so when you're living a life that you're unproud of, you won't want to post anything, because the last thing I would like to do is to mislead people or to be the reason why somebody feels as though they have stumbled. Do your choices, be responsible for them. I would like nothing to do with your choices, if that makes sense. If anything, I want to be a positive influence to the people that consume my content. And so that's why I was not recording, because I was just like, nah. I want to be my authentic self, by the way. And so even with friends, a lot happened. Even in the friendship department, some of you guys know, I'm not wishing you bad, but I just hope you find healing from the things that make you guys act the way that you do. I pray and hope that you don't have to experience somebody like you. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Does the heart have a bottom? From the septum of my heart. The other thing was, what else? I saw I had nice talking points before I pressed the record button, but now it's like I'm shy, Bella. I'm not shy. My thoughts are just all over the place. Let me gather them, just a moment. And I was in a place where geographical location wise, it felt as though, when you're surrounded by so much, because of our sponge-like nature, you tend to absorb and act like the people that are around you. And so it felt easy to get away with all of that. Yes, I did my best with the circumstances or with the cards that I was dealt with, but I feel as though I could have done better. And so I decided to pack my bags and to move to another place. And that was honestly one of the best things I could have done for myself. hey, I appreciate me for putting me first. And it wasn't easy, yes. I wish there are people that I could, move with. I still have people that I am concerned about. I still have people that I feel as though I could have, but then I need to rid myself of the savior complex, because at the end of the day, we are all trying our best in this life thing, and so, yeah, and I think it also was just frustrating me to be looked up to so much and to not be open about your struggles. The fact that you make it seem so easy, or even if you are open about them, people see what they want to see. One of those people being my mom. I keep saying a lot. My apologies. Telling her that I was struggling and that I was going through A, B, and C sort of like wasn't received the way I thought she ought to have received it. Am I making sense? In the fact that, at first it's a thing of, you experience compassion once you share what you're going through, but then it's like somehow you aren't allowed to repeat it, especially after having failed so many times. I've gone through so much, so many emotions, and you hear so many things, right? And you get to see people that are there for you give up on you. That is something that is really painful. I pray no one goes through that, but then that's life. These things are a part of life, and the best you can do is what now? You see? And that's also the thing. You won't have all the answers, or you won't rationalize so well and articulate these things so well. And that is one of the pressures I need to try and lift off my shoulders. But basically, first you experience the compassion, and then you see the anger or the resentment. It's almost as though they see it as you are doing these things on purpose, because what do you mean you are not passing? What do you mean we spend this much? Or what do you mean your background looks like this and this is what you're up to? Those are tough realities to have to deal with. And so, to a certain extent, I experienced something I perceived as punishment. We experienced support, financial support. To a certain extent, I found myself lacking so much that I had to work hard physically. I had to go out there and look for work. And so I was trying to balance working, being a student, just many different things. And so in that moment, because of having experienced these extended trials, but then again, I couldn't blame them, because had I stuck to the script, I wouldn't have experienced that detour. But now that I was there, what was I gonna do for myself, right? So I thought of a way. Okay, find work, do this, do that. But then I saw that the devil was finding way too many opportunities. The excess that I gave of myself to myself, the water. The excess that the devil had to me was one that I needed to revoke, because it started reflecting through the people that I had around me. yes, there are some people that are in your life for a season, but I needed to do something about it, you know. When it comes to association, it might seem very light, but it's something that is very, very serious. It's not something that ought to be underestimated. Influence, association, and it seems very light because sometimes you might feel guilty, or you might be like, oh, what if I'm being stuck up? What if I'm being too hard on myself? What if I'm not being lenient with this person? What if all that would be required of me is just to sit and have a conversation with these people, or it's just to sit and participate? The requirements, they start so small, but then the price that you pay would be a hefty one, and so you have to be careful. You can't afford to be lenient. You can't afford to be the easygoing person. You can't afford to be so chilled, because it is that deep. It's a matter of life and death. Because once those small trivial things compound, that's how much you see that this is actually this serious, and so you can't afford to play. So once I moved, I decided that you know what, I'm gonna work hard. My hard work was not reflected in the results, and so I experienced so much emotional pain. I experienced so much emotional pain that the last thing that I had on my mind was to pick up a camera and record. I'm not gonna lie, I had zero desire. If anything, I had made peace with the fact that even if I was not gonna be able to record anything, I was okay with living with that. I was ready to accept that fact, or I had accepted that fact. And so somewhere in between there, I found love. And one of the things my boyfriend did was to encourage me to create content. Because I mentioned that in as much as, yes, I wasn't posting content, I mentioned that I loved creating content, and I was like, you should create more content. And I decided to create again, hence why we are here. Did it. This fly, I can't. I will start coughing and I will not be able to talk. Anyways, yeah. Oh, also, somewhere in between there, I got scammed. Very embarrassing to have to relate that experience, because as human beings, we want to think of ourselves as being that smart, that me to be deceived, or me to fall for propaganda, or me to fall for a scam. Until you are in that moment, refrain from thinking that it could never be you, because I definitely did think it would never be me, but yet I fell for a scam and I lost my phone. And so my boyfriend decided that he was gonna buy me a new phone, and the content comes out looking amazing. And so I'm just like, how is it that I was comfortable posting content that I recorded with my iPhone 6, yet the quality wouldn't come out as amazing as this? And I don't want to create content while I have such an amazing device. What do I mean? No. So yeah, I hope my thoughts are making sense. I'll end the video here. I hope you enjoyed watching this. If there's something you'd like to share, please feel free to share your views in the comment section. For making it this far, please comment a doom emoji. Comment a doom emoji. I want to see who was paying attention or who made it this far. And please take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one. I hope the next one is going to be a vlog because I have such amazing content. But then again, I'm stuck between not having a showy display of life and so yeah, stuck between not having a display of life and what? It didn't make sense, Emily. I'm stuck between not having a showy display of life and you know what, ne? Listen, here's how I think of it. It's not having a show display of life, shashi. There is a sort of content. The content I put out is the sort of content I would like people to consume, especially for young ones that are witnesses. I would rather you watch my content. I would rather you watch content that is made by a witness than for you to go out and watch content that is made by a worldly person. You know why I'm saying that? I was just talking of the dangers of association or influence. We are also influenced by what we consume, the content that we watch. And so I would rather you watch content of someone that is mindful of the influence they have on you than for you to blindly just be enjoying content that could be detrimental to you at some point, especially to your spiritual health. Yeah, bye. Otherwise I'll not finish.